Alright, what's good? I just came to make this video because this guy right here, Z Fold 5, is getting disrespected, and I just want to clear some things up. First thing is that I think that people are overreacting to the OnePlus Open. I think it looks like a cool device. You know, the hardware looks really nice and cool. The aspect ratio of the outer screen is more like a normal phone. People are excited about that. And for me, the software is the most exciting thing because they have many multitasking features right out of the gate from launch. So I think that's really cool, and seems like they put a lot of effort into the software side of things. But I do think people are overreacting because this device is not even out yet. And all the reviewers making videos, they have review units, which are not even retail products. And some of those have even had issues like dead pixels and condensation building up in the camera lens. These are issues that YouTubers have reported. So that's why I think people are kind of overreacting and, you know, hopping on the train a little bit too fast, or at least, you know, throwing this guy under the bus. This is the top dog when it comes to foldables, and I'm gonna get into that later on in this video. But yeah, so I just think that people are, you know, people need to calm down. All right, calm down. Like you're moving a little bit too fast, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about is that this outer display on the Z Fold 5 is very misunderstood. It seems like a lot of people don't actually understand the purpose of it and, you know, how good this outer display actually can be. So I'm gonna break it down for you. The first thing is that, look at this. I can hold this device really easy compared to like most other phones out there. This is about the same width as an iPhone 13 mini. And that's a really nice holdable phone, pocketable phone. This is the same width when it's closed. So that is already a strong point of this phone. Like I can literally do anything I need to with one hand because of how nice this phone is. And you might say, okay, it's the width of the iPhone mini, but it's very tall. Samsung has made their software very intuitive so that you can deal with a taller device all with one hand. An example of that is one-handed mode. Swipe down, boom, you have one-handed mode activated. You can even tap this arrow to move it to each side, and then you can customize, you know, how big one-handed mode is. Like you can make it smaller and you have access to the whole entire screen like this, or you can make it a little bit bigger so it's, you know, not as small but it's not as big as like how the screen is normally, and you can still access the top of the thing. And then when you're done, you just tap the outside. Boom, super easy. So I can do like 95% of the things I need to do on my phone all with one hand and all with one finger and my thumb. I got the edge panel, open Chrome, and then I can open, you know, my email, and boom, there you go. Literally split screen in like a few taps, takes like 0 seconds. I can tap the middle, switch them, or I can save the app here and then launch those two apps if I want to, very quickly, very easily. This phone is just very misunderstood when it comes to the outside the screen. And yeah, when I think about a foldable phone, my main concern is not the outside screen, it's the software and the main display, how good that is. When I open this up, this software is the most complete, the most robust, the most feature-packed software of any foldable phone out there on the market. And you can't tell me otherwise. Like, you can literally do so many different things that are useful, that impact your daily workflow, your daily life using this phone, your quality of life, that you cannot do in other phones. A lot of reviewers, when they're reviewing the Pixel Fold, they talk about the taskbar. They say, oh, it's very intuitive. The taskbar on this has been here for a minute, and it's customizable. It's flexible. It can meet your needs. So if you don't want the taskbar at the moment, you just tap and hold and it's gone. Tap and hold, it's back. You can customize in settings to make the taskbar persist like it is right now. But then you can also make it disappear while you're in split screen. Or you can make it persist at all times, even in split screen. So this taskbar has deeper customization than most other foldable phones out there. More than the Pixel Fold. The Pixel Fold can only do this, swipe up and then you drag or you tap it to go to the app. Whereas with this phone, you can literally do so much. In terms of split screen, you can swipe to the side with 2 fingers, start split screen like that. You can swipe from the bottom, 2 fingers, start split screen like this. You can tap and hold from the bottom and drag like just like the Pixel Fold, or you can bring it to the middle and do floating windows. And Samsung has the best floating windows on any mobile device, any mobile software. Samsung has the best floating windows, period. You can send it into split screen, you can adjust the opacity. You can make it easier to grab onto by increasing the size of this bar right here. You can minimize it, open it up, dismiss it. You can also open split screen just from here. So I have mine set to just tap and it will open split screen. So I have 2 instances of Google Chrome running right here. Then if I want a third app, I just tap, boom, there you go. And people think that like having 3 apps on the screen is not that useful. It's small and this and that. But you have to, when you have something like this, you have to know how to use it, how to work around it. So for a smaller section like this, I'm not gonna have something that I want to constantly interact with, or have something that like I only need to interact with a little bit or just look at, mainly looking at. So like, for example, I'll have a video playing here, and then I'll be, you know, doing work stuff on the other screens or the other apps. Or I will have, you know, like a timer, like I have my clock, stopwatch, something like that. Or I'll have the calculator, and then I can constantly do work on the other two apps, and then have my calculator here for that. Or instead of having the calculator as one of the split screens, I can have it as a floating window, interact with it, boom, boom, boom. Then I can minimize it, bring it back up, or just leave it, and that's it. It works well. And also in terms of the floating windows, I can set it so that when I swipe out of apps, the floating windows persist. So if I have a whole, you know, setup going on and I swipe out to close the apps in the background, my floating windows will stay there if I want it to. All this to say that the software on the Z Fold 5 it's the best. Like, I don't think any other foldable is touching the Z Fold 5 when it comes to software right now. Like, I can customize how the app drawer looks. I can customize how my quick toggles look. I can make quick toggles, you know, widgets on my home screen through modes and routines. I can use modes and routines to create a series of commands on the phone to do so many different things. I can turn on flex panel, so any app that doesn't support flex mode, I can turn on flex panel, which opens up a little trackpad. So as you can see, there's a mouse cursor, and I can use, you know, all your finger gestures same way as you would with a mouse pad. And then I can quickly screenshot. I can bring down my quick toggles or my notifications, and I can open split screen if I want to, instead of using this, or just dismiss that overall. There's so many software features that, like, I can't even cover them all in this video. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that to say that this new kid on the block is better than this phone right here that has the best software of any foldable phone out there is kind of crazy to me. A phone that hasn't even touched the real world, hasn't even hit the market yet, to, you know, go crazy and say that, all that stuff is kind of wild to me, just because it has a bigger outer display. Another thing that people talk about a lot is the cameras. The OnePlus Open, it seems to have good cameras. You know, they put a lot of focus into it with the new sensors and all that stuff. But even with these cameras, I can customize these cameras. With Pro mode, I can adjust all the camera settings, or Expert RAW. Like, you can literally go deep with these cameras to get good photos in almost any situation if you desire to. I know not everybody cares about that stuff, and not everybody's into like spending time figuring out things, or, you know, photography enthusiasts, but this phone can do it all. And like, in terms of point and shoot, I do think phones like the Pixel Fold are better point and shoot devices. But for example, I set my camera to always stay at the last setting that I left it at. So it's in Pro mode right now. And then my shutter speed is at 1/125. ISO is at 500. On this phone, you can set double pressing the power button to do different things, like open an app. Right now, I have it set to open the camera. So let's say my daughter does something cute, double tap, boom, I can shoot my photo at 1/125 shutter speed, which is really fast, and I can most likely catch her in focus if I have problems with the auto mode. But to be honest, auto mode has been good. Like, I haven't really had issues with like missing my daughter or my bunny. So the point and shoot experience is not even bad because of the customization, the things that you can do to accommodate your experience on this phone. And that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people get about the Fold 5, is that, sure, there's things that you might not like about it, but at the same time, you can adjust and customize the phone to meet your needs and to get over those humps. For example, people don't like the outer display. They think it's too cramped and too small. You can literally adjust the keyboard to make it bigger, make it wider. You can adjust the screen size to make it, you know, bigger, pop out at you, instead of being so small and like far away from your eyes. You can adjust these things. You can make it work for yourself. I guess what I'm saying is, you know, don't judge a book just because of its cover, especially when the cover is this good. Me personally, I was good with the Z Fold 2's cover screen. Aside from not having 120 Hz, I think the size of it was okay because it's literally just a springboard to do stuff. And then when you need to get serious, you open this up. This is the reason why you buy these kind of phones. So I was cool with the Fold 2. But the Fold 5, I think, is a sweet spot between, like, for me personally, I can comfortably do anything I need to on this outer display, and I have no problems. I can multitask. I multitask like almost daily on the outer display. And then when I need to get serious, I open it up. It's about like a 80% to 20% usage ratio. 80% for the inner display and 20% for this screen right here. But like, I never feel like I'm super limited or I can't do what I need to do on this display. I feel like it's very sufficient because of the software customization, the software abilities, and all the things you can do with it. I think it's just good enough. Like, one hand mode is just perfect. The Z Fold 5 is one of the best all-around smartphones out there. When you talk about a phone that can do everything, that can fit any shoe, fit any scenario, literally flex and bend to fit any environment, this phone is it. Some of those reasons are really good cameras, might not be the best of the best, but the customization allows you to get photos that rival the best of the best. And even in auto mode, it can rival the best of the best. It has wireless charging, which the OnePlus Open does not have. It has IPX8 water resistance, so I do not need to worry about this phone getting wet. It can dunk in water and be cool. It has a reliable USB-C port that can display out into Samsung DeX, which is a PC desktop interface. I have no problems using SSDs on this phone. Like, I can connect anything to this phone and it works properly. No issues with that. I can't say the same with other phones and even the iPads that I use. Flex mode panel, under display camera, like this whole time, you know, you might not even have noticed the camera. The camera just blends in, and I don't like the quality of it. I barely use this inner display camera, but when I need to, it's sufficient for video calls. That's what you use these selfie cameras for mainly. For me personally, I don't take selfies like that. If I do, I'm doing selfies like this, like literally using my outside screen for, you know, those kind of purposes. And even speaking about this feature, foldable phones have adapted this, but I think Samsung does it the best. I can swipe, and now I have full control over all the cameras and all the settings from this screen. So let's say I prop this up, now I can, you know, I can record my footage while still adjusting everything on the small screen right here and seeing everything. So Samsung is just like, they're going crazy with it. And then when you're done with that, flip it and swipe and you're good. And then we also have the S Pen, which rivals the Apple Pencil 2. Like, in terms of like the responsiveness, pressure sensitivity, just professional use cases, the S Pen is really good, especially this S Pen Pro with Bluetooth capabilities for more features. Even the base S Pen has more features than the Apple Pencil 2. Like, there's just so much that you can do with this thing right here in terms of productivity, drawing, whatever it is, editing photos, videos. The S Pen is a great companion, and just another reason why the Z Fold 5 is the best all-arounder phone, or best all-arounder package, best pound for pound foldable device out there. We're talking about the best overall package, the best all-arounder, the best pound for pound. It's got to be the Fold 5. Preference is one thing, but people need to stop playing with the Fold 5 for real, for real. This is bleeding edge right here. This is the best of the best in terms of what you can do, capabilities and all that stuff. This is it, man. I'm really excited for the OnePlus Open though. I'm not knocking on it. I just think that we're overreacting and we need to see more in terms of software. Outer display, people misunderstand it. They don't see the benefits. And even if you don't prefer this, you have to at least see the benefits. That's how I feel about things, you know. I can not like something, but at least I can take in why somebody would like that, why somebody would prefer it, and that's okay, you know. My preference is not definitive. My preference is not something that everybody should agree with or want, but at least I can acknowledge that there are differences out there. There are use cases for different things that I might not need or want. For example, Apple fans, they say, who uses split screen anyway? Meanwhile, so many phone companies and manufacturers have been developing split screen because it's a feature that people use. It's a feature that is valuable to a lot of people around the world. So even if I didn't use split screen, I wouldn't say why would you add a split screen to a phone? Because I think that these companies make us pay so much money for the devices. We should want everything that they can give us in terms of like software features and stuff like that. Why limit customization? Why limit the freedom? Why limit productivity? Why limit someone else's use case just because I don't use something? We're basically just saying like, here, take our money and don't give us anything. You guys can just keep doing the same thing every single year and not innovating, not changing, you know, not giving us a better experience or more potential for different things we might need. Who knows? You don't use split screen, but maybe one day you gotta copy bank information from one app to another app. You know, like there's so many use cases for split screen and other features. So yeah, that's just how I feel, man. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is kind of a long one, but yeah, we out. Peace.